So what is it? What's that secret ingredient that takes an action movie from just a fun way to spend a Friday night to an absolute all-time classic? Is it the explosions? The hero? The cheesy one-liners? Well, let's get into it because we're about to decode the formula behind the most unbeatable action films ever made. And it's so true, isn't it? I mean, our source material from Top List really hits the nail on the head here. For generations, these movies have been the pinnacle of pure, adrenaline-pumping entertainment. They're built to keep us glued to our seats.
But that's the real question, isn't it? We've all seen a million action movies, but only a handful become legendary. You know, the ones we rewatch over and over, the ones that basically define the entire genre. So what's their secret? What have they got that others don't?
Okay, so here's how we're gonna crack this code. We're gonna break down what we're calling the action movie blueprint. We'll start with the hero. What makes them more than just a tough guy? Then we'll get into the spectacle, how these movies literally changed the game. After that, why a good story is non-negotiable. And finally, we'll put it all together with the ultimate case study, Die Hard. Right, so when you really dig into the all-time greats, you start to see a pattern. It turns out they all share three key ingredients. This is the blueprint. You could even say it's the DNA of an unbeatable action classic. Let's start with ingredient number one, the hero. Because honestly, without a character we can really get behind or connect with or just be in total awe of, well, the biggest explosions in the world just feel kind of empty, don't they? And what's so cool is that there's no single mold for what makes a great hero. You've got the guy next door, the everyman, like John McClane. Then you have the deeply traumatized veteran in John Rambo. Or the charming, whip-smart adventurer, Indiana Jones. These guys are memorable because they're way more than just action figures. They feel like real people. And just look at the contrast here. On one side, you have First Blood, this incredibly tense, gritty look at psychological trauma. And on the other, Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is just a pure, non-stop adventure. Both are legendary, which proves that an iconic hero can come from a dark, realistic place just as easily as they can from a grand, swashbuckling one. Okay, so you've got your unforgettable hero. Now they need an incredible playground. And that brings us to ingredient number two, revolutionizing the spectacle. A truly legendary action movie doesn't just show you a cool fight scene. It completely redefines how we see fight scenes. It pushes the art of filmmaking forward. Take Gun Fu from the John Wick movies. This style was a direct answer to years of shaky cam action scenes. You know, where the camera is so chaotic you can't tell what's happening? Well, the directors of John Wick did the exact opposite. They used wide lenses and long, steady camera takes. This decision forces you to see every single move, to appreciate the brutal, beautiful choreography. It creates tension not from confusion, but from seeing just how skilled and deadly one man can be. And then, of course, there's bullet time from The Matrix. This was way more than just a slow-mo effect. By using a whole ring of still cameras, all firing one after another, the filmmakers created this virtual camera that could literally move through a frozen moment in time. This technique gave us, the audience, a godlike view of the action, completely detached from reality. It wasn't just cool, it was the perfect visual language to show us that Neo was rewriting the rules of his world. And you can really see that evolution right here. It starts with the raw, terrifying, and very real danger of the chariot race in Ben-Hur. Then you get to a master like James Cameron with Aliens. He chose to use physical miniatures and practical effects because he wanted his sci-fi world to feel gritty and have actual weight. He did it again in T2. Even with the mind-blowing liquid metal CGI, he grounded it all with real stunts and real explosions. And that brings us full circle to Top Gun Maverick, which proved that putting real actors in real fighter jets creates a visceral feeling that CGI just can't touch.
But here's the thing. You can have the most amazing hero and the most revolutionary special effects, but if we don't care, what's the point? That brings us to our third and final ingredient, a story that packs a real emotional punch. The action has to mean something.
And that's the key, isn't it? These movies have real stakes. The action serves a bigger purpose. The Dark Knight isn't just about cool gadgets, it's a battle for a city's soul. The fights in Gladiator aren't just bloody violence, they're fueled by a man's powerful quest for honor and revenge. In every single one of these classics, the story is what gives the action its power. All right, so let's put this all together. Let's look at the movie that our source ranks as the #1 action film of all time, the one that perfectly, masterfully combines our entire blueprint: the hero, the spectacle, and the story. Yup, you guessed it. #1 is Die Hard.
When this movie came out in 1988, it didn't just perfect the action movie. In a lot of ways, it totally reinvented it for a new generation.
So let's run it through our checklist. The hero? John McClane, just a regular cop way in over his head who survives on pure wit and grit, no superpowers. The spectacle? It's not about huge battles, it's about clever, tense, and totally believable action. And the story? It's just a perfect mix of suspense, humor, and heart, made even better by maybe the greatest screen villain of all time, Hans Gruber. I mean, the formula was so good, it basically created a whole new kind of movie. Die Hard on a Bus became Speed. Die Hard on a Plane was Air Force One. For decades, the idea of one hero trapped in one location against impossible odds, that was the gold standard. So, there you have it. That's the blueprint. An unbeatable action movie isn't just one thing. It's that perfect fusion of all three. A hero you root for, spectacle that blows your mind, and a story that has real heart.
And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. As technology gets crazier and storytelling keeps evolving, what's the next unbeatable action classic gonna look like? What new hero, what new visual trick, or what new kind of story is gonna come along and change the game all over again?